Roustabout.
Hey everybody, it's Jason Rouse. I'm here with Black Zeus.
Hey.
And here in Austin, Texas. You want to take a little walk with me?
Oh yeah, bro.
So, let's go back.
13 years?
Let's go back to, well, you started, what year was it?
What's 13 years ago? I'm not good at math. It's 2024. I just passed 13 in March. 20. I'm so bad at math. Thanks for getting this on camera.
Hey, I don't know the number either. I went to school in Hamilton.
24,
Did you go to school in Hamilton?
Yeah, 100%.
What high school?
And London, Ontario.
What high school did you go to?
St. Thomas More.
My brother went to St. Thomas. Was that a
Go Knights!
Catholic school? No uniforms.
It was uniforms and it was Catholic. I ended up in Catholic school because when I was in London, I started in public school, and then I had two racist teachers. So grade 1 and
just
then
two?
Just two. But grade 1 and then grade 4. And then after the grade 4, my mom was like, fuck it. For whatever reason, she thought Catholic school would be a
safer place. Yeah.
I mean, there was no niggers drop, but like they were looking at me, all the priests and stuff. So I was like, which is the lesser of two evils?
So you're at St. Thomas More. How many people of color in the whole school?
Oh, a ton.
Yeah.
It was a big school, 2,500 people, and at least I'd say a quarter, maybe slightly less, black. There was even Muslims there. I was so confused. It didn't make sense.
It's tough to be Muslim in Hamilton. Well, 10 years ago. You know what? Let's take a walk down off the busy street.
All right.
Oh no, you want to get weed?
I mean, if we could grab it, do you think they would have weed here?
No, that's a cigar store.
All right.
It'd be cool if they did, though, because there's nothing I love more than smoking blunts.
I haven't seen you smoke a blunt. Can you roll a blunt?
No.
No?
I've bought those fucking wraps so many times, and I end up ripping them in half.
Not the Juicy J's.
Okay, the grape flavored.
Yeah. Rouse.
Those are fine.
For Hamilton.
For Hamilton, but you know the band Slipknot?
Yeah, of course.
Well, the DJ Starscream.
Yeah. Well, what's his mask?
Oh,
does he have a recognizable mask?
Yeah. Robots. A lot of robots. He's got Transformers tattoos on both of his hands.
Like the two factions or whatever?
Yeah. The Decepticons and the
Autobots.
Autobots, yeah.
Nerd.
Yeah. He has tobacco leaves.
What do you mean?
Like a whole
he wraps?
leaf. Yeah. He has a whole leaf, and then he cuts it with a blade, and rolls it.
Hey, is grabba big here in the States?
Grabba?
Yeah.
You smoke that?
Like you put it in Jamaicans, especially black people love putting it in their joints back home.
What is it, flour? Or?
No, it's dipped tobacco.
Yeah.
It's
dipped tobacco.
Yeah, it's dipped tobacco. I don't know. I'm not Jamaican. I just know that it gives me a headache if I smoke too much of it.
Well, that's that what's it called?
Oh, what?
Delta 8.
Delta.
Yeah, that stuff gives you a headache. That's the only thing you're gonna find around here is Delta 8.
No, THCA. I'll take that.
I get it. But, okay.
Beggars can't be choosers out here.
There's the cannabis dispensary right over there.
Perfect.
So, we're gonna take a little break and we'll be right back after these messages. Yeah. What did you just get? Delta 8.
No. This is the THCA.
That's the
Once
thing.
you burn it, the A goes away, and you're just left with You know how many people fucking told me that since I've been here? No, you don't get it, bro. It's just weed, but you burn it. I'm like, yeah, that's what you normally do.
Yeah, but you're spoiled though.
I don't want a headache. Yeah, we got the best of the best up there.
You got the bomb.
But then also,
and you live in
sales tax was a buck. Like, fuck that shit. Tax is what pisses me off now. I bought some clothes out here and I didn't pay any extra tax. I was like, It's exactly what the price tag says.
I know, isn't that nice?
Fuck, man.
You're like,
and everything's
oh.
cheaper. Even when you convert the dollar, it's still cheap. So like, we're getting ripped for
All right,
sure.
you're yelling, you're scaring all these white people.
Malachi!
So, 12 years ago, you started comedy. What was going on the year before? Are you in London or Toronto?
I'm in Hamilton. I started comedy in Hamilton.
What club?
Yucks. Oh, actually, my first show was Staircase Theater.
No shit. Okay.
Yeah, Clifford Myers.
And what? So now you're at. Where was it? On the mountain? Yuck Yucks.
Yuck Yucks was beside the Hooters.
Oh.
Yeah.
You came in at the worst. The worst. That might have been the worst location ever.
Oh, really?
Oh, fuck.
Oh, because Ari would always be in the back just fucking clanging goddamn glasses during the whole show.
It was a mess.
You hear the dishwasher during the show.
It was a mess. It was poorly laid out room.
You saying that just triggered me, actually. I'm like, was it that bad? Yeah, it was that bad.
But again, the Howard Johnson Yuck Yucks basement was the perfect club.
Why'd they move?
A lot of, you got to figure, a lot of the clubs were on leases for like a decade.
Okay.
In that time, business changed a lot.
Real estate started going up a little bit.
And comedy started going down 10 years ago.
Oh, fair enough. I can see that.
15 years ago, it was at a low. I just moved from England.
From England?
To Los Angeles, to a skeleton crew ghost town of stand-up comedy. The Comedy Store was empty on Saturdays when I got there.
Yeah. Empty?
Empty. Like a room that held 450, there'd be 60 people there on a Saturday late show.
We might end up on that Instagram account, Influencers in the Wild. That girl was just filming us from a car.
Yeah, well, if she comes around again, I'm gonna spit in her hair. I don't like that shit.
Bro, you are so quick, like it's actually, I'm jealous.
Look at it, speaking of jealous, is that guy in skirt? No, shorts. Yeah, I know he goes to your barber, that's for sure.
You're a bitch.
When you got dreadlocks on the top and bottom, doing it.
Wow.
Doing it. So you go down. Was that the first time you saw comedy live? Was that the Yuck Yucks on the
Staircase.
mountain?
So I actually, like what got me into it was I got into a car accident. Like comedy practically raised me. I was a latchkey kid. So I grew up literally I was watching Carlin at age 10 and shit, like not really fully understanding, but being fascinated. But I never thought to do it.
Yeah.
And then when I was 22, I got in a car accident. When I was 22, I got into a car accident and I was off work for 6 months. I was bedridden for about a month and a half, 2 months.
Broken bones, back?
No, just like everything was just fucked, but
yeah.
I broke nothing.
Yeah.
So I was bedridden straight up for about a month and a half. And during that time, I got heavy into Curb Your Enthusiasm. Like I went on eBay, I still have the box sets to this day. I got like a great deal because the cases were cracked.
Dickie D. Without the pedal part.
I see a lot of like makeshift ice cream trucks and vans here.
It's all horse shit.
Sorry, I'll close my mouth. Hamilton boys.
Yeah.
Self-deprecating.
Staircase Theater, you're watching the show, starts planting seeds that were kind of already there.
Mm-hmm. And then the car accident comes, I'm watching Curb, and then I realized that the show is improvised. I bought a book on Curb, and it had a bunch of scripts, and then it described how, like, this is the whole script for the season, and it was like 3 paragraphs.
Yeah.
It was it. I was like, wait a second, this whole show is improvised? Mm-hmm. As soon as I was out of the bed, I didn't have to go back to work because insurance was paying me. And I found an improv. Yeah, hell yeah. I found improv lessons in Hamilton at the Staircase. Did that for about 6 months, but like something was missing. Like it wasn't all there. And
too many people in the office.
Too many people to interact with. I wanted them all to shut up. They weren't as funny, I thought. Like, it was just like, turns out I just don't like improv.
Improv's, David Mary said it best. The only thing missing from improv is the letter E. Improve.
Oh, thank you. Wow. Black, ladies and gentlemen. I can't stand you.
Now that
I
we
can't
walk
stand
past this, let's cross the street because this.
We might die.
We're on Cesar Chavez here in Austin, Texas.
The mural? You want to see that mural?
No, this is the pinata store.
Oh.
I've never seen one before until I came here. This whole fuck, Mr. Squirrel's trying to cross the road here.
Shuffles. Oh wow, these are actually like soft.
Yeah.
They're like airbrush. What the fuck? You just stuff them right here. Oh fuck.
I thought I bought one of these, so I thought it was a fleshlight. My Little Pony, My Little Pony. Longhorns, it's a gay bar.
Oh, no barbecue?
Just hot dogs with no buns. Whoa!
You know, for a place that's known for barbecue, I haven't seen that much.
Just close your eyes and open your nose.
Fair enough.
It's wild, especially when you go out in the early AM.
Yeah.
Because all the guys are out at their meat trucks, smoking meat and
For the day.
for the day. So you start doing comedy. Yeah, I'm sure you quickly realized that stage time was key.
Yeah. From the first set, though, I knew it was what I was doing for the rest of my life. And you know what I will credit improv with? I was riffing with the audience my first set, and I was comfortable. I wasn't good,
Yeah.
but I didn't bomb. So
Yeah.
that to me was like, the fact that I got a couple laughs and I didn't get booed out the building.
Yeah.
I knew from that moment
You were
it was the
able,
rest
you
of my
knew
life.
that at least you'd be able to tread water.
Yeah. That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, well, I took my improv classes in front of the most menacing people in front of this. I do improv in the kitchen at a house party.
This is real?
Yeah, and I mean, I didn't know I was doing it at the time, but people would interrupt me or say things and I would elaborate on it. That's how I got my quick.
I was gonna say, yeah, that makes sense.
You know why I got so quick? Because it was either that or getting slapped in the face for not being funny. So, if anything, it had to be brutal.
How long until it really clicked for you, though? Because I'm sure you weren't as sharp as you are now from the jump. Or were you?
I was.
That fucking
But
Jason
because
Rose.
of those kitchens, those house parties at a high school, now I'm sitting asked to leave my Parkview Secondary School, all boys vocational school. And I
Yeah.
wasn't there for my rocket science degree. In fact, I don't know this a little before your time, but it used to be called SLD classes, slow learning disability.
No, I'd never heard that.
Yeah, so, and Russell Peters was in the slow class. I think we kind of bonded a little bit over our...
You guys went to the same school?
No, but we have a
Oh,
similar
I
story
see.
in the sense that we're just completely alienated by everybody. And...
Thank you.
And so, yeah, asked to leave high school.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing I'm good at is riding a skateboard or, let's take a walk down here. Riding a skateboard or a BMX, which
Yeah.
really isn't anything that you can, vandal.
Okay, well, now
Vero,
it's kind of a
dude.
viable path, though. I think it's just as much considered a sport as fucking hockey or any of this.
The more I learned about comedy, the more I realized how much my life had prepared me for these obstacles. Moving around, I was at 6 different public schools. I went to three different high schools. Before I was 14, I probably lived in 10 different apartments.
I have almost that exact story. By the time I was, well, not 13, 22, I had moved 13 times.
Yeah.
And that's between countries, schools. I never went to one school. STM was the first time I stayed at one school from beginning to end, which isn't even really an accomplishment because high school is only 4 years.
Yeah, well, I was in the 4-year mark, halfway through, 2 months into my 5th year.
Yeah.
And the principal calls me in the office. Now, because my crew downsized, a lot of my friends had either quit or moved out of the
Oh,
city.
gosh.
So I
This is a gorgeous street.
oh, it's great. All this shit is fucking sweet. The principal calls me in the office and says, "Do you know how many credits you need to graduate?" I said, 36? Yeah. Do you know how many credits you have? Now keep in mind, Jason, now my principal, he was a cunt. He's dead now for sure. Mr. Zavitz used to fucking do this. Jam his fucking finger in your chest while he talked to you.
Listen here, Bill Connell.
Prick. He used to call me a proverbial jack-o'-lantern. That's what he said to my mother.
Is this where you say? It sounds like some shit you would say to somebody.
Yeah, well, he should have been a comedy writer by the sounds of it. So he goes, you have 26 credits. You've been here from going into your 5th year. You're not doing anything. And I said, well, people like me. So they tell me to hit the bricks.
Wow.
Now I've got zero obligations.
How old are you?
17.
Yeah.
Now, the novelty and the camaraderie of skating and BMX, guys are getting into close to the drinking age. So now I'm starting to see beers and weed at the skate park. And my father was a heavy alcoholic, so I was terrified on becoming a full-blown piss tank before I was 30. So all that shit.
Was anybody in your family religious?
My mother,
Yeah.
grandmother. In fact, I brought Steve Patterson to my grandmother's house in Moncton, or outside of New Brunswick there, or outside of Moncton. And you know Steve Patterson?
No, I'm not familiar.
Oh, Debaters.
Like the host?
Yeah.
That bald guy?
No.
Short.
Not short.
Okay, I don't know what you're talking about. I
It's Canadian television. It's been on for like 10 seasons. I've never seen one of them, but I know my former roommate, Steve, who's hosting Canadian game shows, is now at my Jason Rouse's grandmother's house, and he's walking around looking. He's going, "There's open Bibles everywhere," and I go, "Shut the fuck up."
Tell nobody.
And she goes, "I hope you don't curse." Steve almost spits out his drink in the kitchen. Curse. And I'm like, no. So yes, there was that. I was also involved in a cult for a short time.
What was it called?
Lincoln Alexander Community Center.
How'd you get in? They just wrote you in?
I was
delinquent?
During my, how old was I then? I was a teenager, early teens. And my mother started to donate her time to this community center, which inevitably turned into a religious cult. And I escaped it. In fact, they had a large gymnasium in the church. And I asked to bring my bicycle because I had to go there every day after school and every day in the summer. And summer came, and I said, no, why am I going there? Like, to read. None of this applies to me. You don't know the world I'm living in. So I brought my bike, and when they left the back doors open, I did a fucking Michael J. Fox right out the door. Boom. Rode, escaped, went down to my aunt's house and explained that this was not working for me. So completely disbanded from organized religions.
Yeah.
Probably, if I have a problem with authority, I'm gonna have a problem with most gods, except my own.
There you go.
And
yeah, you're an occultist, yeah? Come on.
I have some superstition, sure.
Like how deep down the rabbit are you? Like
You're here.
Crowley.
You're here. I do have a. I'm not gonna get into this right now.
Yeah. All right.
I got my magic.
There it is.
Yeah, I have magic.
Some sigils.
Some symbols, sure.
Yeah.
And things that kind of move me the way I have to be in this universe.
It's all mental alchemy, man.
For sure.
This is, you know what fucked me up? Like, because I've never been with the organized religion, but I'm Ethiopian. So I grew up with shit like Book of Enoch and as canon.
Book of Enoch.
Like that's
Is that an X-Men movie?
Well, literally that's the book where they talk about fallen angels, giants, all this shit. But that's canon in the Ethiopian Bible, which is the oldest fully recorded Bible still existing. So I had to, like...
Is the Ethiopian Bible straight up Muslim?
No. It's
No.
Coptic Christian. So, like, the Europeans didn't even bring Christianity.
Do Muslims have problems with that rendition? Because if Muhammad is not the figurehead in that
But why
story...
would Muslims care about a Christian text?
No, I know, but if they're saying Coke or Pepsi,
Yeah.
is there people in the Muslim community that actually acknowledge that other book?
Sufis, I think. Sufis are like the hippies of Muslim culture. They're the ones
Do they
that,
look like brown hippies?
Yeah, actually, all the people that I know that identify as Sufi are all like,
Yeah.
like look
Diet,
like me.
lifestyle.
It's
It doesn't matter what color you are. If you're eating and acting the same way as somebody else in the Amazon, you're gonna get the same fit. You're gonna get the same fit. Look at this dope spot.
I think there's truth in all of it, man. Like you start to see, like, so what I was getting at is, okay, so I grew up trying to make sense of this literal, like, Marvel fucking storybook in the Bible that was considered canon. Like, my mom's devoutly religious, and she considers that canon.
What was the house like? Was
Crosses everywhere.
Oh, okay, so Christian crosses.
Christian crosses.
Is that
everywhere?
Is that in conflict of interest of anybody who's Muslim?
What's with this Muslim thing? What do you mean? Like they wouldn't, you know,
Well,
Muslims believe in Jesus. Like Jesus is in the Quran.
Yeah, but I know, but
Not as
they,
the last
they adopt
prophet,
all the
though.
symbols because Muslim symbols. I don't see a lot of crosses.
Their symbol would be the moon, the crescent moon.
That's what I'm talking about. A Muslim person would totally pick the moon over the cross.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But if you start to think about like,
But if you put a cross next to a moon, is there a conversation in that?
actually there are some offshoot religions that do that. Like,
Some people are fucking gnarly, rigidly religious.
I think anybody that really goes down that rabbit hole, man, from my personal experiences, like I'm just so grateful for every hardship in my life that has turned me into such a critical thinker. You know, like
Question everything.
question everything.
Very
it's like,
satanic of you.
well, it's very occult, but here, like I've only recently in my life, I'm 34, come to really understand. It's like all the shit that they call Satanism and all this shit, bro, it's like ancient sciences anyways.
Yeah.
It's what my ancestors literally used to do, but then they warped it. They told me to believe in this white guy Jesus, and even like having a connection to Ethiopia, which is a depiction of Jesus older than that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
having to fucking make sense of all that, now getting older and understanding there's been like 16 Christ figures in the existence of our recorded history.
I
like
would love
Krishna.
to see those time lapse of
that'd be
all the
crazy.
renditions from. Give us the fucking magic.
You ever watch the movie?
The Crying Game. It's a guy.
Thanks. What was the one with that white chick? The fucking actor Morgan Freeman's in it. She turns into fucking God essentially by the end of it. Fuck.
Oh, was that where
The girl that's
Alanis
married to
Morissette?
Che, Mike, like not Michael Che, Colin Jost, who's married to Scarlett Johansson is in it.
Okay.
She's the main actress. We're gonna get there, bro.
Uh-huh.
How do I not remember the name of this movie? Fucking come to me right now. Scarlett Johansson stars in I Am God. Fuck.
I am God.
What? It's not the movie. I'm disappointed in myself. I've said this name 1,000 times, but that's how it works.
The best part is that we have smartphones at our disposal.
Yeah, but I'm trying to stay in the moment. How do you feel about tech? Like, are you locked into your phone and social media and all that shit?
I'm not. I do it. It's all about using it as a tool to perform stand-up comedy.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no games on my phone. There's no pornography on my phone. There's
Well, you can delete the
no.
browser history.
Huh?
I'm like, you just probably delete the browser history.
No. No, I don't. I got a picture of Boomer's asshole and that lady with shit on her lips. If you want to consider that a distraction.
I consider that a museum.
Yeah, I call it the palate cleanser. Because whatever you were thinking about,
It's gone.
it's gone. Mind wipe. So you're doing stand-up. How long was it before you decided to make that move to Toronto? Was it because of comedy or?
Yeah, 100%. My idea was I have to prove to myself that I can move down the road, and then once I do that, I'll go to New York.
Yeah.
I was in Toronto for 5 years before the pandemic hit, right near the tail end where we still had no idea where this was all going.
Yeah.
I ended up getting a really sweet offer back in Hamilton. I got a 2-bedroom apartment, a parking spot, a car. I was living in a fucking shoebox with a Nigerian in Toronto.
Yeah.
You know, and I was making it work. I was really
that was
in the
grind.
scene. And you know what I'm grateful for? Is like I know I established myself properly, because even though I'm not there anymore, like people still consider me like in the like, you know how when you move out of the major scene, people stop kind of thinking about you for spots or for this because you're just not in their face all the time.
Yeah.
It was none of that. So but I was pissed for the first year or two after the pandemic, because I was like, did I just fuck myself by moving back here and killing that momentum?
Yeah.
And to be perfectly
But you were
honest,
on a long. Everybody moved back in with their mom and dad.
I thankfully upgraded that.
A lot of people were sleeping in the beds that they had when they were kids. All of a sudden, went from a corporate executive to my job doesn't exist anymore. I was so glad. This is another thing why I picked stand-up comedy, because I knew it was a thing that you could do as long as you could speak and people could hear and understand. There's really nowhere else. Like, if the world was burning right now, I would get a crowd of people just shuffling up, bleeding out of their necks, zombie fights. I go, you guys want to hear some dick jokes? And some would, no!
Some of them would
and I'll go, well, we'll start with you, sir. And then we go from there, and we'd all be laughing and bleeding to death. And it would be fun. And somebody would give me a bite of their sandwich. And that's just one day that you wouldn't have to blow anybody for gasoline. And I walk.
And I walk. Holy fuck.
Look how nice this is.
So what got you in? Like, what made you start?
I was always doing it. I just found some people to pay me for it all of a sudden. No. Staying up late past my bedtime, trying to watch TV as long as I can. So after the talk shows and the reruns are done, late night stand-up comedy, A&E at the Improv, HBO specials, you know, Carlin and Eddie Murphy, and all the people that were alive in the late 70s putting out stand-up specials. And
was it just stand-up, or were you inspired by like early SNL, like Belushi and them? Or
no, I love comedic actors. You know what I mean? Like John Candy would probably be at the top of that list. And then right beside that would be Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
But I also knew, because The Mask had just dropped. And I quickly realized that stand-up was a great vehicle to get seen and practice your skills. So I knew eventually that there might be some film in the future if I get really good at stand-up. So things just had come to a head in Hamilton, and starting to take stock and realize that this is really not going to happen. Anything that's going to happen here is me dead or worse. And
I like that there's a worse.
yeah, that's what I mean. We're living in hell is way worse than death. And I kind of saw that now looking back and having visited Hamilton every year since I've left the city. Every time I come back, I realize on how important that decision was, and how grateful I am that I was fortunate enough to have a close friend of mine more or less force my hand to make a decision that I'd been procrastinating, crippling procrastination for probably 2 years leading up to. So by 80, 86, 87, 88 in high school, I just terrorized it. It was Jackass and everything in between. So the need for laughter was developed after getting out of my shell in the early years of high school.
Yeah.
So then Jim put out that A&E biography, and I had it on a VHS tape, and I'd watch it every day and make notes on timelines and goal setting, and more or less looked at that was his experience in the business. If I could have half of those experiences, I'm a hero. So my friend telling me that we should move to Vancouver,
Yeah.
and I should start doing comedy there, and he was going to pursue an acting career, and moved there in '93, and then I did my first show in '96.
Wow.
And we were saying earlier, I don't know if it was on camera or not, but when I came through those curtains after my set, I was like, this is all I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I've done. Every day after that was a massive amount of work and commitment, dedication, preparation.
And how many years for you now in the game?
I think last month it was 28.
Jeez.
28 years.
So let me ask you this then, because I heard you mention procrastination and shit. I think that's been my biggest, like, I really feel like now, especially with this trip, I have solidified, like, that part of me is completely dead.
You don't have time for that now.
No, but it's years of habit building.
Yes.
Is what I was working against, and I didn't realize how negatively that shit impacted me when I was young, to just sit there and do nothing with my time and to normalize that. And especially once I had, can I tell you, like, I was lost. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I went to college twice. Like, and I really thought about it. I went to college for radio broadcasting, and then I went to college for animation. I didn't complete either of those courses. The car accident happened while I was in animation. And then from there, I started comedy, and I'm like, it was immediately like how you described going behind those curtains. I fucking knew I figured it out. And I was so mad at myself at the beginning, because I'm like, it's been in my entire life. How did I not stop to think?
But now, years later, you're probably having a similar experience.
That's what I want to get to you.
Yeah.
Okay, so, because it starts with this initial fucking rocket propel. It's like you get the booster ride all the way up, and then you're in it for a couple of years, 2 to 5 years, and then you start to understand the business side of this shit a little bit.
Breaks your spirit a bit.
It fucking destroys what you think comedy is. Patrice said it best for me. It's like, I got into comedy because I wanted to be funny, and then I realized at some point that it isn't that. Comedy has nothing to do, and this like seeped into my mentality with social media creeping in. I'm not a dinosaur.
Yeah.
I'm always been with the tech, but what I saw, like, I love fucking comedy. Like, I'm a purist about this shit. I have studied. I've watched people I don't even like. Like, when I first started, man, after I did my first set, it was almost like I was in college, like, on my own. I watched everything. I looked up everybody. Fucking random people. Like, black people don't sit and watch, like, Joan Rivers and shit to understand.
Yeah, I know. You became a student.
100%. And then understanding
and then you were
my
happy,
whole life.
And then when you're sitting there watching Joan Rivers, you've got a perspective of, like, holy shit, that's fucking Joan Rivers all of a sudden.
Crushing. Like, crushing.
In her 80s?
And then even like random inspirations, like how Jim was a heavy for me, but also Phil Hartman.
Yeah.
Phil Hartman. Once I actually got into comedy too, I started to go back, because I watched news radio as a kid. Everything he did with The Simpsons, like all his acting shit, but him on SNL. For whatever reason, that guy resonated with me so heavy. And I'm a goofy guy, like I'm an animated, goofy guy. Jim Carrey helped me realize I could be myself and animated.
Yeah, same.
But Hartman made me realize I could do all the characters in my head.
Yeah.
Out loud.
Yeah.
Like,
that's why we spent half an hour teaching you how to be a black old man. You know, that was wild. I had to step back and go, what the fuck is going on?
Yes, Miss Daisy. One day.
Oh, got it. Now, we're going to go over the bridge, and we're going to be right back after these messages. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to cross.
No.
No. Yeah.
Dog shit park. Anyway, back in Hamilton, sweet apartment during the apocalypse.
Yeah, right at the tail end.
Were you doing outdoor shows or any of that?
Yeah, I refused to do online. I did no Zoom shows.
Yeah.
Like I would never, I just couldn't. I watched one and it literally made me sick to my stomach.
It's
like,
bad.
This is not what, but you know what? I actually really enjoyed the outdoor shit. It felt renegade. Like I'm very much
illegal.
Yeah, I'm very much anti-establishment guy. Like that's, like you're telling me it's illegal to tell jokes in the park, you fucking weirdos?
I was doing more shows in parks in Toronto than I had done spots in LA that year.
I'm not surprised.
It was anywhere. I was encouraging all of it to be a protest across the country.
Yeah.
But it went as far as Toronto. It didn't really take on, and then the truck drivers kicked off. But
I think the best thing that happened though, like it took a minute to figure out, because at first I was like, fuck, I'm away from Toronto. I felt disconnected from the scene. But what I did with the big bedroom I have, I turned it into a studio. And then I cycled through I met some great people that helped me start up the Studio 27 Collective. And actually they did animation for Michael Lair on Kill Tony.
oh, nice.
Yeah, they've had a bunch of shit on like SNL and Adult Swim and stuff. They're pretty fire. And they live in Hamilton. There's so much talent in Hamilton.
Always has been.
It's just no opportunity. But eventually I ran into Dante doing another comedian's podcast. We linked up. We started producing the podcast together. And that's when I decided, like, I kind of adopted this mentality that was going downhill fast. Because I really, like I said, I'm anti-establishment. And what social media had done to my favorite thing, comedy, just irked me. But I think I went the wrong approach in trying to make that my online persona. Which most of the comedy scene interpreted as, you guys fucking suck, which you do. But, like, it just went away from what I actually wanted to accomplish. And now I feel like, I don't even feel like I know what we're doing is the absolute right thing. If I'm anti-meme, then let me go all the way down that rabbit hole. If I say I'm so about comedy, then let me go all the way down that rabbit hole. I don't want to be known as, hey, this comedian, I found him because he made this funny fucking video series on TikTok. Like, I just don't want to be that guy, but I will be the comedy guy.
You don't want to be a rollerblader at the skateboard park.
No.
Nobody does.
Like, what the fuck? Yeah, but no, that's a lie. Everybody does. Especially out of Canada.
Fun.
Nobody has, like, bro, if you love comedy so much, to figure out a way to, like, I don't know, man. I don't know. That's, to me, most people aren't in it because they want to be a comedian.
No, because so many comedians are famous.
Yeah.
So if it wasn't them, it'd be actors as usual or rock stars. But now comics have elevated to rock star status. There's people that have gotten tattoos because of Joe Rogan, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In fact, they've had his face. Yeah, I have my face on a couple of fuckers too.
That's wild.
There's a girl in Sweden.
That's gotta be satanic of some sort.
A girl in Sweden has one of my jokes tattooed on the top of her hand.
On her hand?
On her hand.
Is it your face?
No, it's written.
Jason Rose?
It says, I'm going to hell, but I know I'm going to know people there and it's going to be warm. That's it.
Wow. How did you react when you first saw that?
I was like, that wipes off, right? She's like, no. I'm like, that's wild.
You flattered by stuff like that?
Yeah, anytime somebody hurts himself for me, I feel better about myself.
That is a sacrifice of some sort.
Hold on a second.
Like, this trip has really solidified what we're doing online too. Like, getting interviews with Russell Peters, with Cam Patterson, like you, Aaron Belisle.
Yeah,
like,
you guys got, like, those are 4 bangers.
Yeah, and we started with that. We have so many interviews in the tank right now.
Yeah.
I really want to expose the breadth of comedy to people, because right now it's very saturated by Rogan and his crew, which isn't necessary. I'm not saying this as a negative thing. It's just what it is.
Wait to cross River
there's a lot of people online that have like these channels that
Comedy's
claim to
gone
be
pop.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're gonna say that I'm gonna bring you into the world of comedy, but have never stepped on a stage
Boom.
yourself, I take up arms against that shit.
Offensive.
100%. Don't claim to tell people about this shit and then only talk about Joe Rogan and his friends. That's Joe Rogan and his friends. They're like an empire now. Where the fuck is the rest of the shit? So
Because there's no middle class.
We were in line at Kill Tony. We interviewed this dope guy, Tim. Never been given a platform. Dude in a wheelchair just starts explaining what comedy really did. Like, that's what I want to expose. I want to be like Soft White Underbelly for comedy. Mixed with Nardwar and a little bit of Jackass.
I like it.
Like, that's why I really resonate with you. You know, when I'm like, Jason's my guy. When I first started comedy, I tried so many things. I threw it all at the wall. I tried characters. I had this fucking French-Canadian guy, Rouge Anana, Red Banana. Fucking
I remember.
Retarded. Ugh. The one that you saw was my dad. I went up at Kaylee House in a gray wig, in like a business shirt and a fake mustache, and I did a whole set as my dad, and I belittled me. I just talked shit about, I walked out on this kid, da da da. I took a girl's cigarette from the audience, and she thought I was gonna light it, and then I broke it. I'm like, this will give you cancer in your titties, bitch. You were sitting in the back like you always do, Mr. 666. And I'll never forget this. You pulled me in, and you told me that, like, I don't remember exact wording, but you encouraged me to keep going at it, and you told me I was really funny. That was the first real fucking...
Because you were the only guy that was taking risks.
Well, that's what this is. I'm not in comedy because I don't have friends. I'm not in comedy because I'm a loner. If anything, like, comedy makes me want to hang out with people less.
Yeah.
This is so fucking fake. Entertainment is so fake, full of fucking phonies. People that shake your hand and not even stab you in the back. Stab you as they're fucking shaking your hand.
Cartoon came across, a little meme, and I think it was more geared for bands.
Yeah.
But it was two guys in suits hugging each other, and the bubble said "great set," and they were both putting knives in each other's back.
Like, that's a perfect depiction of show business.
Yeah.
And not even show business, life in general.
Yeah.
But show business, it attracts the absolute fucking batshit crazy lunatic loners, you know?
Yeah.
And people that have never had community now find community with other insane people. And the problem is that
trauma bonding.
Yeah, bingo.
Yeah.
You know when I got funnier is when I started fucking working on myself.
Yeah.
I just started exposing all that shit on stage. Like, it made me relatable. And then I have such a goofy demeanor that people don't expect me to get philosophical. And now I love what I've crafted for myself, but it's the only thing I could, bro. Like, that's life. I graduated high school and I was so excited because I'm like, fuck yeah, no more gossip, no more all this fucking high school bullshit, meddling. And then I started working properly.
Yeah.
And I realized that real life is just fucking high school.
Yeah, it's not high school politics.
It's life.
But that's what's going on here right now. This is like a high school politics of comedy. Everybody is second-year students. It smells great. It smells like what? This guy's got a dope spot over here.
Like a cabin.
Yeah, right next to the river. That's cool. Hate to fall down those stairs though.
Yo, that tree all the trees here are warped in such an interesting way.
I think because it's dry for so long.
They just fucking like
they get all
up.
Twisted, yeah. They dry out and bring themselves out.
So where's the best place in America you've lived?
In the United States? Mm-hmm. I've only lived in New York, LA, and Austin.
Those are the spots. So which of the three?
Austin.
Yeah.
But again, they're completely different animals.
Of course.
Look at the landscape alone from Austin to Los Angeles to New York. Completely different ecosystems. I love the fact that there's no escape from the city of New York. Once you're in it, you're kind of in that bucket and anything goes, you know? Mm-hmm. The fact that there's world-class entertainers and food. There's still a very strong working class. And I found that those people where Hollywood doesn't have any working class.
No, they work very hard.
So they're
to
not
keep them up.
they're not appreciative. They think they've already made it.
Sorry, I cut you off.
We're gonna get hit by a cement truck. Can you turn up the heat?
Where's the sidewalks? They really don't want people just fucking loafing around.
Because they know one's stupid enough to walk in this weather. It's hot.
It's too much fucking breeze.
So before COVID, you and Dante put your heads together. After COVID, and I think that's when I paid attention and saw you start dropping stuff, and I'm like, okay, we'll see where this goes. And then I was like, you don't know it, but you need to get the fuck out of here ASAP. And that's when all those phone calls from me started happening.
You saw that interview.
Which one?
That's the first thing you sent me. Good interview with Mark. I got featured on CBC The National.
That's right. That's what triggered me.
There was 4 comics there that night. None of them got featured on that piece. It's fucking Mark and Norm Macdonald, Mark and Jim Carrey, and then Mark and me.
Yeah.
I fucking damn near pissed my pants.
Yeah, no, that was cool.
I think you were showcased in that. Kenny was showing like all the old footage.
Oh, okay.
It was like a 15-minute piece.
Huh.
Yeah.
No, it was great. When I saw you on that, I was like, you're on somebody's radar at least.
I have Mark on camera nationally telling me that come busy season they have to book me more.
Yeah.
But like when I moved to Toronto, the whole goal was to then use that push to eventually get to New York. Austin wasn't a thing yet. Then the pandemic moved me back, and mentally, subconsciously, that moved me back.
You're so lucky that you don't have to try and make it in Canadian show business anymore.
Oh my God. I've actually seen the promised land.
Now you know why I'm so aggro on the phone. Like everything's on fire, let's go.
So let me ask you this then, because New York is still very much an established place for comedy. You can get on stage a lot. The bookers and agents and all that shit, half the time there, half the time LA. When do you see Austin, or do you see Austin overtaking it in that respect? Because right now, obviously, you got the Kill Tony approach to Austin, and
Austin is as big as LA and New York combined.
in terms of scene or city?
Scene.
Combined. One thing I also noticed is because it's Texas, it's so big. You can just hit up Dallas, Fort Worth, San Antonio.
Yeah,
Fucking,
it's like 2 provinces.
We drove to Oklahoma. Like, I would do that for a real gig.
Yeah.
For real audiences at a real club where they really care.
And that's where you showcased in front of Russell Peters' show.
Like, come on.
In front of the bookers.
I was so fucking, all that adrenaline was pumping. I drove the 6 hours there, 6 hours back, no problem.
Yeah, and I knew. I go, this sounds insane. Like I've been traveling for 2.5 months. I'm exhausted. The last thing I want is a 6-hour drive to do a guest spot.
Plus, you had us crashing on your couch for a night. That must have not been fun. After you just get back into town. Like,
well, the whole point is so we could leave early enough in the morning, which is fine.
To me, I'm just like, oh, I'm sure this guy wants to decompress. Like, what do you do after a month away? You don't give a fuck, eh?
I'm just old, and I've...
Say cranky, you son of a bitch.
Not even cranky. It's like you have to have a place to hide.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? When you're around people constantly.
I'm thinking of taking a really big risk because of this trip.
A risk?
Well, I'm surviving off life savings right now.
Yeah.
I'm when I say I'm going all in, like,
yeah,
especially in this time where the fucking inflation is crazy, the housing is crazy.
Yeah.
It's but like,
this is blood's in the water.
This is what I'm here to do. So I still have like some rent squirreled away.
Are you telling me?
I'm thinking I'm taking that rent and going to get my visa. Like now.
Yeah. When's your lease expire?
Oh, I've been there for years. I could walk out on a month's notice.
Wicked. Oh, you do a Facebook marketplace. You sell the fucking end tables and the lazy boy. The family keepsakes go into a storage.
I can go to my mom's.
That you have the key. Yeah, you can go to your mom's, but usually you want to place
Your own shit.
your own shit. Usually near the airport.
Interesting.
So every time you come into town, you put another 20 pounds worth of shit in. I've been humping things back. I still have stuff in storage in Sweden and LA and Canada.
Interesting. So you're paying storage in multiple countries.
Well, in one of them.
You're back there frequently enough that it makes sense. Like, when did that become a thing for you? How many years in? Or I guess the landscape was so different back then too. And if you were that elite, which I know you were, the opportunities were there.
To work?
To live. To pay your rent, bills, food, travel.
Yeah.
And clothes, and chill, weed, booze, drugs, sex.
Buy stupid shit on the road. Jewelry.
Like, how many years in?
You gotta figure, you know, after I did the Comedy Now, that was 4 years. I was headlining.
You're 4 years in at that point?
I was headlining less than 2.5 years in.
What the
They
fuck?
moved me up to headliner. Because I was burying guys.
Yeah.
Like, viciously. All the naysayers and thumbs down guys, they got spanked. And I got tape to prove it.
That's so funny. Would you have their sets too?
Well, I let my camera run. I get off as a middle, the headliner would go up, and people would be yelling out, "Bring the funny guy back up."
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was brutal. I've never seen white people act like black people before.
That's beautiful.
But when they're angry, they will speak up.
You were probably the one white guy that has crushed the hardest in a black room that I've ever seen.
I was the first white guy to crush in a black room in Canada.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Only because I went there every Sunday for like fucking 2 years or 3 years. I don't know.
I think I've only seen you on Nubian once. And like, you literally fucking burnt the place to the ground.
Black American audiences, I had a few attempts and I watched what they were responding to,
Yeah.
and I didn't want to go down that road. But for whatever reasons, Canadian, European, all black comedy shows. In fact, I headlined an all black comedy show in Johannesburg called Blacks Only. That was the weirdest thing. When you go on stage and you gotta wait for the audience to stop laughing so that you can start talking,
You're doing something right.
I was like, shit. They're rooting for me. Not one arms crossed, just a bunch of fucking Africans laughing at this dishwasher from Hamilton because you're in the wrong neighborhood, son. The show states blacks only. But they would go, all the comics backstage are like, this is gonna go really good or really bad.
What was the first one you did outside of Canada? Like, first black room?
Coco's in Detroit.
I've actually heard of that room. Legendary room, no?
Yeah, big time, for good reason. They were doing like 10 shows a week and the capacity was like 450.
Jeez.
Metal detectors, I never seen metal detectors before. And me, Roy Day and Mark Trinidad
No way.
had been befriended Coco, because Kenny would bring her up to headline.
Okay.
And she would destroy. I've never seen a woman just fucking toss the room around like a rag doll comedically.
Yeah.
Bird her.
Like wall shaking type shit?
Just like you felt like you grew up with her by the end of it. A lot of personal stuff, hardcore, sex, filthy. She was a big lady.
Mm-hmm.
And that was her club. Well, she saw me and said, if you guys ever want to come down to my club, I'd love to have you. And Detroit? She's like, yeah, Coco. All these guys know who it is. I'm like, Mark, Roy, let's do it. Let's go to fucking Detroit and go to Coco's. And me and fucking Mark Trinidad drove all the way down to Detroit. And we had to park the car because it was all fucking, dude, it was pimped cars all the way down the alley.
Oh, you were...
Right
Where
off.
were you guys driving?
We drove, it was a fucking
Like a little
Mark Trinidad's baby seat in the back. You know what I mean? Like, you got a white guy with a Trini from Trinidad,
Yeah.
a black guy with a Jamaican accent, and a white guy from... What could go wrong? It looked like, the whole place looked like a D12 video shoot. It was electric. And we go in, first of all, everyone, they're looking at us like, you guys shouldn't even be in this area.
Yeah.
Is what the look. And I'm looking to Roy, because he's the blackest person next to me.
Yeah.
It's like, do you know what to say to them? Like we're friends with Coco's, and everyone's like, no, I don't think so. You belong here. Faith, hope, love. It's funny, when I put my feet on the grass here, there's blood in my urine. Fuck. So we go in to do the show. We have to go through metal detectors, which totally freaked me out.
Yeah.
I heard my Canadian, I've been hanging out with the Hoosiers. And I went last. I think it was Roy
Yeah.
and Mark and then me. And Roy's doing Jamaican stuff.
Mark's doing Trinity stuff.
And they're just like staring. And it was explained to me going, they've been black Americans for a long time.
They have no connection.
They don't give a fuck about what happened previous to the flag, right?
Yeah.
So they stared at me, and I came off stage like I was short of breath. I thought I was gonna pass out because all eyes on me,
Yeah.
right? And I don't know what's happened. They didn't boo, and they didn't really laugh. Some people, I had a couple hecklers I couldn't understand. I don't know if you've had anyone heckle you from Detroit, but it's harsh. And I think it was a lady. I think that's what fucked my head
Sounds like
up.
she chews cigarettes.
Some fucking bitch in the middle of the room. You ain't funny, motherfucker. And then I'm from Hamilton. I'm sorry, you know. Anyway, end up leaving, never going back.
Oh no.
Went on a couple of chocolate sundaes at the Laugh Factory. Again, it was like the room was popping, and I ruined everyone's night. Latino show's really good. This is we're gonna finish right over here at the SoCo signs, South Congress. We've come all the way around from Lady Bird Lake.
Hey.
Zeus,
Yeah.
thanks for being on the show.
Love you, bro.
And where can people find you?
AKA Black Zeus. Instagram, TikTok, X. I got a YouTube channel, a podcast, a documentary, a comedy special. AKA Black Zeus on YouTube.
Nice. Nice. Go to jasonrouse.com. We got shows. Hamilton, Sweden, Denmark, Norway. I think maybe Germany, Poland. We'll see. European tour in October. Ontario, Canada, September. And I'm going to go film a movie in a couple of weeks. So we'll see how that turns out. Thanks for watching, everybody. Live here from Austin, Texas. Another episode of Roustabout.